Good evening, Ruth. Good evening. Today, Ruth is the first student to join the session, huh? Ruth, am I audible? Am I visible? Let me know. Sophie, good evening. How are you? Long time. Okay. All right, people. So, good evening, all of you. I'm audible and I'm clearly visible, also, right? No network issue. I'm absolutely audible. I'm absolutely visible too. Right? Okay. Ruth, Sophie, Nazmeen, hello, hello, hello. Very good evening, everyone. Okay, so your Ashish, good evening, sir. Good evening, good evening. So, see, people, today your motive should be that all those questions that we're going to do, right? You should get full marks today, okay? Because of duty, I could not attend. No problem, Sophie, no problem. Good evening, Anju. Good evening. How are you all? Right, so today's motive of discussing this question is to make sure you to ensure that yes, you're doing pretty well in your OAT writing, okay? So, I think around 12 to 13 questions are there, so your motive should be to get full marks, okay? Try to get full marks today, and even if you do not get, don't stress yourself that okay, I did not get 14 or I did not get 13. It's no problem. Your motive should be, even if you get 10, even if you get 11, your motive is to learn, okay? Learn from your mistakes and make sure that you do not repeat it, okay? So without any delay, let's start with our first question. Just everybody let me know I'm clearly audible and visible. You can see my screen and I'm absolutely audible. Just let me know that. Just let me know that I'm absolutely audible. Yes, audible. Chalo, badhiya. So let's start with our first question. Expand the following sentences. Okay. First question is expand the following sentences. Right? Name of the patient is Mr. X. Expand the following sentences. Name of the patient is Mr. X and medical history of the patient is infectious mononucleosis 16 years, tonsillectomy age 8 years, appendectomy age 15 years, varicocele age 19, percutaneous embolization. How would you expand this? In which tense are you supposed to expand this and how are you supposed to expand this? How are you supposed to expand this and which tense are you supposed to expand this? Good evening, Juliet. Good evening, Ikra. Good evening, everyone. Yes, people, tell me, how are you supposed to expand this? Medical history, infectious mononucleosis 16 years, tonsillectomy 8 years, appendectomy 15 years, varicocele 19 years, percutaneous embolization. So obviously if this is the way the timing is given, certainly you are supposed to expand it in simple past tense, right? Certainly you're supposed to expand it in simple past tense. Exactly, very good, Anju, in simple past tense. So I have already provided you the name of the patient as Mr. X, right? Yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Yeah, it should be past tense, right? So how would you say? Mr. X had infectious mononucleosis at the age of 16. Mr. X underwent tonsillectomy at the age of 8. Mr. X had appendectomy when he was 15 years old. Right? Mr. X had varicocele at the age of 19, comma, for which percutaneous embolization was performed. Can't I say like this? Right? So see, Various ways you can expand. Okay, Mr. X had infectious mononucleosis at the age of 16. Mr. X underwent tonsillectomy and appendectomy when he was 8 years and 15 years, comma, respectively. You can also expand with the help of respectively, but when you put respectively, please do not forget to put comma. Okay, so Mr. X underwent tonsillectomy and appendectomy when he was 8 years and 15 years, comma, respectively. Mr. X had varicocele at the age of 19, comma, for which percutaneous embolization was performed. Yes, people, question number 1. All the terms, how did you expand? You expanded it with the help of simple past. In order to expand varicocele at the age of 19 and percutaneous embolization, we also used the help of a supporting connector, that is for which. Have you understood all the questions, people? Were you all able to expand all the sentences? Let me know. Question number 1, expansion is clear to each one of you? Question number 1, expansion is clear to each one of you? Everyone? Got it? Great. Okay. Everybody tried? Great. Wonderful. So all those who got full marks, I mean full correct, please write, put 1 mark. Okay. Question number 1, 1 mark. If all the answers are correct, 1 mark. If any of the question is wrong, put 0. Okay. Right. Chalo. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, again it is expand the following. Expand the following. Name of the patient is Mrs. X. Mrs. X. Okay, so statements are: a businesswoman works online. Father had congenital heart disease. Husband is a busy person. Has 3 school going children. Hypertension, on medication. Take vitamin supplements. Not perform exercise. Okay. So these are the statement. You understood this is the social background of the patient, right? This is what? This is social background of the patient, and social background of the patient is always represented in which tense, people? Social background of the patient is always represented in simple present tense. Okay, social background of the patient is always represented in simple present tense. So when you expand it in simple present tense, it would look something like: Mrs. X is a businesswoman and works online. Okay, you need to add s with work because subject is singular. Okay, you need to add s with verb because subject is singular. Okay, so Mrs. X is a businesswoman and works online. Her father had congenital heart disease. Her husband is a busy person. She has 3 school going children. She has hypertension, comma, for which she is on medication. She takes, okay, subject verb agreement you need to apply because subject is singular, verb is singular, we need to add s to the verb. So she takes vitamin supplements. She does not perform any exercise, or she has minimal activity, or she has no exercise, or she does not perform any exercise. Understood, everyone? Clear? Question number 2 regarding Mrs. X, you need to expand it in simple present tense because simple present tense are expanded in simple because social background of the patient are represented in simple present tense because they talk about basic facts about the person. So you need to expand it in simple present tense. Have you understood, everyone? Clear? Yes, people. Question number 2, expansion. Question number 1, expansion of simple past tense. Question number 2, expansion of... My paper went good, very good. I used all the grammar that I learned from you. Oh, Asha, happy to know that. Happy to know. See, this itself is a confidence, right? When you yourself say that, yes, my paper went well, right? Because when student is not confident, they say, ma'am, don't know what happened. Let's see, right? But here Asha is confident enough that, okay, the exam went well, right? So let's see, Asha. Let's hope for the best, okay? It was last Saturday. Last Saturday exam, are you talking about Arsh? Arsh. Yes. Yes, people, clear? Clear? Question number one, question number two, clear everyone. Let's move on to the third question. Okay, let's move on to the third question. Advice. So this question, please do not mess. If you mess, I'm going to be very disappointed. Okay, already taken numerous time in Zoom session, already taken live session on this topic before also, and already I have done a YouTube session too, which is already recorded. You have watched it numerous times, so please don't mess with this question. Okay, so I am writing to refer Mrs. Dawson who requires dash and assistance to improve his ambulation. Yes, people, come on. Let's see how many people say wrong answers. Yeah, instruction. Ikra, hi from Pakistan. Ikra, love from India. Ikra. Yeah, Ikra. Lots of love, dear. Lots of love, Ikra. I'm very excited to see your message always, Ikra. Especially here, okay? Right? You have always been attentive and never miss the class. Yes, people, everybody said the right answer. Everybody. Let me point out everybody. My name is Arshad. Okay, Arshad. Happy to know, Arshad. Hope you're doing well. I'm very happy that you applied the techniques and it helped you out. Dahlia, Advice, Sophie, Jennifer, Anju Mary, Chinju, Dhanya, Anju, Sunu, Shrikant, Prem Sir, Ikra, Abita, Ikra, Ruth, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, everybody says right answer. You deserve this. Very good, very good. Keep it up, keep it up. Also from Pakistan. Wonderful, wonderful. Happy to see this. I'm so happy to see this, right? Now it's unity in diversity, right? Yes, see? Very good. Happy to see this, Ash. And very, very happy to see that all your answers are same. See? All your answers are same, people. Kudos, kudos. Superb. Keep it up. Trust me, your grammar is on track because now you have learned it. You know how to apply the concept. So wonderful, people. So this is for you. Okay, this is for you. Wonderful. So I am writing to refer Mr. Dawson who requires advice. Spelling of advice should be ADVICE because it should be instruction. Okay, I have told you numerous times and you really did not hurt me this time. Right, so this is ADVICE because ADVICE is instruction, ADVISE is instruct, right? ADVICE is instruction and ADVISE is instruct. So here we have to use ADVICE. You know, there is one more clue in the statement. See, assistance. Assistance is noun and assist is verb, right? Assistance is noun and assist is verb. So certainly here they have given you assistance. So assistance is noun. So certainly before assistance you need to use noun. So there were two clues to come to the answer, right? Very good, people. So I am writing to refer Mr. Dawson who requires ADVICE. Very good, people. Very good. Question number 2. Let's move on to question number 2. Absolutely, Ikra. Absolutely. Too many people from Pakistan trust this forum. Thanks a lot. Absolutely. It is, such a, I really have no words, this is trust or this is unity or this is what? Like, see, we all are learning under same platform irrespective of no such things, right? Irrespective of what we are. We are humans and we are learning together with such lot of positivity, and that's what is the positive thing about this live session, which I always cherish, right? Thank you so much, Ikra. Always, it's always pleasure to see you here in the live session, Ikra. Always. Okay, yes, people, come on. So let's see how you do this next question. Mr. Dawson dash cerebrovascular accident. Oh my God, people, don't mess with the answer. Cerebrovascular accident 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Ago is already over, right? How can you use has had? Mr. Dawson died cerebrovascular accident 4 years ago and his rehabilitation was generally successful. That means this is a completed story. Have you understood? How can you use has had? Has had is wrong. Has is wrong. The answer is had. Clear, everyone? All those people who messed with the answer, is it clear to you? See, you messed with the answer, it's fine. But did you learn? That matters. Okay? So, Mr. Dawson had cerebrovascular accident 4 years ago and his rehabilitation was generally successful. Clear? Ma'am, I have a question. Family physician and family GP is same or not? See, yeah, see Arsh, right? Arsh, in the task, certainly they will not confuse you by saying that, okay, write a letter to family physician. And then on the top, they're saying, write the letter to family GP. If they are saying so, that means you're talking about one person only. Okay, that means you're talking about one person only, so do not worry about that. But if in the case note, see, it depends upon the sentence structure. Okay, if it is written, write a letter to family GP. Okay, and meanwhile in the task, while you were reading, it is written, okay, the patient was referred to family physician before. There also it means, okay, the patient was referred to the same person. Or they should give two different names. Write a letter to family GP Mr. X. He was referred to family physician Mr. Y. If nothing such is given, you do not have to get confused that they are talking about two different personalities. Until and unless they are not giving such kind of clarity, we have to consider both of them as one person. Got my point? See, you have to trust your eyes. You have to trust your reading. So they should give you like family physician, family GP. They should be same unless they have given you two different names. Okay? Clear? Okay, so question number 1, question number 2 is clear to everyone. Right? Expansion is clear to everyone. Question number 1 and question number 2 is clear to everyone. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see question number 3, 4, 5, 6. So question number 3 says, dash 26 slash 06 slash 2010 comma Mrs. X dash with graced palms and hands dash of all. I've told you, in front of specific dates, you should always use preposition on. I've not given you options because you know the answer, okay? In front of specific dates, you should always use preposition on, okay? In front of specific dates, you should always use preposition on. So, on 26 slash 06 slash 2010, comma, people do not forget to put comma. On specific date, comma, okay, on specific date, comma, yes. So on 26 slash 06 slash 2010, comma, Mrs. X. Yeah, either say Mrs. X presented with graced palms because the patient herself present. Can't we even say Mrs. X was admitted with graced palms? Even was admitted is right. Unless we do not know what is there in the question, right? See, until we do not know what is given in the question, whether the patient presented or admitted, here both the phrases would be right. Okay, so either say if you're planning to say presented, it should be on 26 slash 06 slash 2010, comma, Mrs. X presented. Okay, presented with graced palms and hands following a fall के वजह से patient present हुआ. In which case should be used, ma'am? Dear, it should be given in the task. For example, in the task, if it is given as admission days Mrs. X 26/6/2010, certainly you will use was admitted. If admission date certain kind of word is not given, certainly the patient presented. Since I have not given you any clue, both the ways are right here. Right? Got my point? Okay. So the answer is on 26 slash 06 slash 2010, comma, Mrs. X presented with graced palms and hands following a fall. Question number 4. Which of the following is correct? She felt dizzy after fall. She was feel dizzy after fall. She was felt dizzy after fall. Which one is correct, people? Tell me. She felt dizzy because who felt dizzy? The patient felt dizzy, right? Who felt dizzy? She felt dizzy. So will it be right to say she was felt dizzy? Will it be right to say she was felt dizzy? No. Very good, people. I'm very happy to see the improvement in you. Once upon a time, this kind of sentences, whenever I used to put in, this kind of questionnaire, everybody used to say was felt, was experienced. No, experience is something which is felt by the patient herself or himself, right? So here the answer is she felt dizzy. किसने dizzy feel किया? Patient ने dizzy feel किया. Who felt dizzy after fall? She felt dizzy after fall. Okay, so the right answer is option number A. Felt dizzy after fall. What tense is that? Simple past. Okay, what tense is she felt dizzy after fall? This is simple past. Subject plus V2. Feel is first form of the verb. Felt is second form of the verb. And felt is again third form of the. Her hands were, yeah, question number 5. Question number 5, hands. Okay, first of all, hands. Hands plural आना. Hands plural है. So her hands was cleansed with antiseptic. No. Hands plural term. Her hands were cleansed with antiseptic. Yes. Her hands cleansed with antiseptic. No. It has to be cleansed by somebody else. Somebody else would have done this for the patient. Her hands were cleansed with, her hand were cleansed. So hand is singular. You cannot use were. So what is the right answer? Hands plural है, were cleansed, were because subject is plural, were plus V3. Why passive voice? Because they were cleansed by somebody else for the patient. Right? Somebody else has cleansed the patient's hands with antiseptic. So when you give importance to the patient, how will you say? Her hands were cleansed with antiseptic. Understood everyone? Question number 5. Right answer is option number B. Question number 4, right answer is option number A. Question number 3, right answer is on 26/06/2010, Mrs. X presented with or Mrs. X was admitted with grazed palms and hands after a fall or following a fall. Question number 3, 4, 5 is clear to each one of you. Question number 3, 4, 5 is clear to each one of you. Question number 3, 4 and 5 is clear to each one of you. Yes. Okay, chalo, let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Chalo, let's move on to the next question. Yes. Mrs. X dash yesterday with the dash of lower abdominal pain. Dash was worse in the right iliac fossa. She dash irregular bleeding since starting. She dash and POP 2 months ago. Answer very wisely, people. Clue is there in every statement. Every statement has clue. Okay, now see. Mrs. X dash yesterday. Kal ki baat ho rahi hai, right? ठीक, कल की बात हो रही है. दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू टॉक इन टर्म्स ऑफ सिंपल पास्ट. वेरी गुड. यू हैव टू टॉक इन टर्म्स ऑफ सिंपल पास्ट. सो मिसेस एक्स presented yesterday. कल present हुआ. If you're planning to use admitted, you will use was admitted yesterday. If you're planning to use presented, you will simply say Mrs. X presented yesterday. If you're planning to use admitted, you will use Mrs. X was admitted yesterday. With the dash of lower abdominal pain, with the, very good everyone, complaint. I'm talking about single complaint, right? I'm talking about single complaint, Abita. So you cannot add S with complaint. Okay. We are talking about single complaint. Kindly do not add S with complaint. All those who are saying complaints. No, it is complaint. Am I talking about 2 complaints? Am I talking about 3 complaints? Am I talking about more than 1 complaint? No, then do not add S with it. Okay. Yeah. So Mrs. X presented yesterday with the complaint of lower abdominal pain जो कि वर्स था, which was worse, right? Which was worse in the right iliac fossa. Why have I added article the here? Was it required? Yes, it is required because I'm specifically talking about right iliac fossa. I'm specifically talking about right iliac fossa. So when I'm talking in terms of specificity, I need to add article the. Okay, I need to add article the. Okay, so here I will say Mrs. X presented yesterday with the complaint of lower abdominal pain which was worse in the right iliac fossa. She dash irregular bleeding since starting. See, have I not given you time? क्या मैंने time दिया है आपको? बिल्कुल दिया है. क्या है वो time? Starting. She dash irregular bleeding since starting. She has had irregular bleeding since starting. She has been experiencing irregular bleeding since starting. Have you understood? Because see, I've given you the time indication, that is starting. So you have to use she has been experiencing irregular bleeding since starting, or she has had irregular bleeding since starting. She dash on POP, progesterone only pill. She dash on POP 2 months ago. Ago, completed action, no connection with the present. She was on POP 2 months ago. Yes, people, question number 6 is clear to everyone? Question number 6 is clear to everyone? Question number 6. How many of you answered all the blanks of question number 6 correctly? How many of you answered all the blanks of question number 6 correctly? Is it Ikra? Thank you, Ikra. You are also very humble. Right? Always very modest. Thank you, Ikra. All right, people. Yes. Everything clear? Right, so you must have understood. This is the way when I take Zoom sessions also, there the video is not on. Seriously, people, this is how my hands work 2 years ago since starting, right? This is the way I show all my gestures, but then I realize you people are not even watching that. How would you understand? But now I hope you are able to understand. See, please understand, whenever this is second time or third time, I think many people messed with this question. So see, whenever you talk about something which is over, no connection, 2 years back, 2 years ago, right? It has no connection, people. Then has is okay. Since starting, Juliet, it should be has would have been okay if you were talking about present continuous. She has irregular bleeding. That's it. That means she has it right now. Since starting, आद्य मुदल पहले से ही, so पहले से ही अब तक, right? अन्न தொட்டு இதுவரை. So it should be she has had irregular bleeding. If it is she has irregular bleeding, she has irregular bleeding right now. Do not know when did it start. Don't know if it was there in the starting. Got my point, Juliet? Question number 6 clear to everyone? All correct. Very good. All correct. Ashwati, very good. Yes, people, question number 6. With all its grammatical ingredients, with all its sense is clear to everyone. Okay. Question number 7. Okay. Question number 7. Apply suitable connector. Wonderful. Her husband works in a factory and has strong commitment to work. ठीक है, हस्बैंड फैक्ट्री में काम करते हैं और इनका बहुत ही वर्क से स्ट्रॉन्ग कमिटमेंट है. ഹസ്ബൻഡ് ഒരു ഫാക്ടറിയിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നു ആൻഡ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് വർക്കിനോട് നല്ല സ്ട്രോങ് കമ്മിറ്റ്മെന്റ് ഉണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, ഹി ഈസ് അൺഎബിൾ ടു പ്രൊവൈഡ് നെസസറി അസിസ്റ്റൻസ് ടു മാനേജ് ദ ന്യൂ ബേബി. Obviously, he works in a factory. He has strong commitment to work. Certainly, he is unable to provide necessary assistance to manage the new baby. That means the second statement is in favor of the first statement. Second statement is supporting the first sentence. That means here you should use supporting connector, right? Here you will use supporting connector. How will you use? Her husband works in a factory and has strong commitment to work. Therefore, he is unable to provide necessary assistance to manage the new baby. Right? He is unable to provide necessary assistance to manage the new baby. As her husband works in a factory and has strong commitment to work. Right? Her husband works in a factory and has strong commitment to work. Full stop. Subsequently, comma, he is unable to provide necessary assistance to manage the new baby. Yes or no, people? Have you understood? See, for which is not wrong, but other words go better. Okay? Everybody answered. Okay. Okay? Clear, everyone? Understood, people? Question number 6, question number 7. Why supportive connector would go? Clear, everyone? Okay, chalo. Question number 8, 9 and 10. Let's see how you do question number 8, 9 and 10. Let's see how you do question number 8, 9 and 10. So question number 8 is dash 10, 7, 1992, comma, Mrs. X dash cesarean on 10. People, I'm audible, right? I just experienced a network issue. People, am I audible? Am I visible? Just let me know. Am I audible? Am I visible? Just let me know. People, am I? Yes. Okay. All right, okay. हाँ, so dash 10/7/1992, comma Mrs. X dash cesarean section dash incoordinate contractions and inadequate outlet. Okay, so I've already told you that in front of specific dates you always use preposition on, right? In front of specific dates you always use preposition on, so on. Okay, so on 10/7/1992, comma Mrs. X had cesarean section, Mrs. X underwent cesarean section, both the terms are right. Okay, so Mrs. X had cesarean section, Mrs. X underwent cesarean section due to incoordinate contractions and inadequate outlet, right? So on 10/7/1992, Mrs. X underwent cesarean section due to incoordinate contractions and inadequate outlet, or on 10/7/1992, Mrs. X had cesarean section and incoordinate contractions and inadequate outlet. Clear, everyone? Let's move on to question number 9. Mrs. X dash 2 CT scan. So I want you to be very specific here because I have written it as Mrs. X dash 2 CT scan. Mrs. X was subjected to CT scan. है ना? Mrs. X no was underwent. No, was underwent एक साथ कभी नहीं आता, ठीक है? Was subjected to. If only year mentioned, what want to use? If only year mentioned, what are we supposed to use? Okay, abhi that's the right question. Okay, if only year is mentioned, what are we supposed to use? Yes, if only year is mentioned, what are we supposed to use? In 1992. In 1992, comma Mrs. X underwent cesarean section. If only month is given, in July, Mrs. X underwent cesarean section. But if the whole month, date, year is given, then you will write preposition on. Okay. Yes. So Mrs. X was subjected to CT scan and was diagnosed, because diagnosis is always done by somebody else for the patient. The patient cannot diagnose the condition for himself, right? Okay, so Mr. X was subjected to CT scan and was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the left lung, because I'm specifically talking about left lung. Okay, when Mr. X went to CT scan, no, not went to, subjected to मतलब उनका CT scan हुआ, उनको CT scan go through करना पड़ा, ये मतलब है इकरा इसका, ठीक है? Went to मतलब वो गए नहीं, he went through the procedure. Okay, Mr. X went through the procedure. Okay, right. So Mr. X was subjected to CT scan and was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the left lung. During hospital stay या during hospitalization, he dash lung resection, he underwent lung resection, he had lung resection. Okay, he underwent lung resection या तो he had lung resection and chemotherapy. In addition, very good. In addition, comma, he was provided oxygen therapy, comma, fluid management. Okay, he was provided. Will you add with after provided? क्या आप with use करोगे provided के बाद? No, I have done a video. Please watch it on YouTube. The application of with after provided. Okay, the application of with after provided. All those people who have not watched, please do go and watch. Okay, so the right answer of question number 9 is Mr. X was subjected to CT scan and was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the left lung. During hospitalization, he underwent lung resection and chemotherapy. In addition, comma, he was provided oxygen therapy and fluid management. Okay, this is the right answer. Question number 10. Mr. X diagnosed hypertension 2008. Hypertension is a lifestyle disease. 2008 is time indication. You know, whenever lifestyle diseases are provided with time indication, you are supposed to use what? Has had. है ना? क्या use करना चाहिए? You are supposed to use has had. Okay. So Mr. X has been diagnosed with hypertension since 2008. Either use like this, or Mr. X has had hypertension since 2008. Okay, Mr. X has been diagnosed with hypertension since 2008, or Mr. X has had hypertension since 2008. He died smoking 40 years. Now see, 40 साल से स्मोकिंग अभी भी स्मोक कर रहे हैं, राइट? 40 साल से लेकर 40 ईयर्स से लेकर अब तक स्मोक कर रहे हैं. He has been smoking 40 years is duration of time. So he has been smoking for 40 years. Okay, he has been smoking for 40 years. Okay, so Mr. X has been diagnosed with hypertension since 2008. He has been smoking for 40 years. Socially, you're talking about the social status of the patient now. Socially, his wife supportive है. Socially, his wife is supportive and इनकी 2 daughters हैं. इवरके 2 daughters under. Socially, his wife is supportive and has 2 daughters. Okay, so socially his wife is supportive and has 2 daughters. His daughters, subject plural है. See, we are applying subject verb agreement here. His daughters want him, because daughters term is plural, verb should be plural. You will not add is smoking. No, has been smoking, because time indication is given. Okay, so Mr. X has been diagnosed with hypertension since 2008. He has been smoking for 40 years. Socially, his wife is supportive and has 2 daughters. His daughters want him. Okay, verb should be plural. His daughters want him to stay in hospital for further treatment. Dash he dash comfortable wishes to return home. So, what is the statement? What should be the statement? What should be the connector? His daughters want him to stay in hospital for further treatment. लेकिन पक्षे वो comfortable है. അദ്ദേഹം comfortable ആണ്. Semicolon, however, comma, he is comfortable. Therefore, he is comfortable. No. See, daughters want the father to stay in the hospital. Father wants to get back to home. 2 different things ना. 2 डिफरेंट चीजें हैं ना. डॉटर्स चाहती हैं कि फादर हॉस्पिटल में रहे, फादर चाहते हैं कि वो घर जाएं. That means you're talking about 2 different aspects. You cannot use supporting connector here. Okay, you cannot use supportive connector here. So here you have to use opposing connector. So I'll repeat. What should be the right answer then? Mr. X has been diagnosed with hypertension since 2008. He has been smoking for 40 years. Socially, his wife is supportive and has 2 daughters. His daughters want him to stay in hospital for further treatment. Semicolon, however, comma, he is comfortable and wishes to return home. Wishes, because he is singular, you will add s with the verb. Yes, people, how many of you got all the 4 options correct in question number 10? How many of you got all the 4 options correct in question number 10? Question number 10, all the 4 options correct. किन किन के हैं? Yes, people, how many of you got full? Anju, full correct. Juliet, full correct. Very good. Great. Wonderful. बहुत अच्छा. Chinju also. Sophie, no problem, yaar. You learned, na? That matters. Ashwini, 1 mistake. Okay, no problem. Not me. Okay, no problem. Let's see how you do the next one. 11 and 12. 11 and 12. Let's see how you do. Question number 11 and 12. Initially, pehle, Mumbai, Mr. X presented dash March 2007. Abhi has asked this question before. Ma'am, if only time year is given, what preposition will we use? If only month is given, what preposition will you use? So what preposition will you use? You will use preposition in people. Date is not given, na? Date is not given. If date was given, we would have used preposition on. Since date is not given, you will use preposition in. Okay, since date is not given, you will use preposition in. Okay, so initially, comma, Mr. X presented in March 2007. He dash diabetes, dash he dash on medication. See, no time is given. Okay, time indication is not given. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease. That means it is patient's present condition. He has diabetes, जिसके लिए वो medication पर है. അതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അദ്ദേഹം medication ലാണ്. He has diabetes, comma, for which he is on medication. He has poor compliance. इनका poor compliance है, compliant नहीं. Okay, he has poor compliance with oral diabetic agent. डैश इज मेडिकेशन कंप्लायंस वॉज मॉनिटर्ड. क्योंकि इनका पुअर कंप्लायंस है इसलिए इनका मेडिकेशन कंप्लायंस मॉनिटर किया गया. राइट, दैट मीन्स द सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट इज इन फेवर ऑफ द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट. राइट, सो ही हैज poor compliance with oral diabetic agent, semicolon, therefore, comma, his medication compliance was monitored, semicolon, therefore, comma, his medication compliance was monitored, full stop. He has been prescribed. What preposition will you use after prescribed? He has been prescribed. What preposition will you use after prescribed? Oh, that's so sweet of you to acknowledge that, Ikra. You are okay, Ikra Rahman. You are B-Ghud student only, no dear? Attending Zoom session. Is that the same Ikra Rahman? Right, you're the same Ikra, no? Who is attending Zoom session also? No, let me know. Right, because I can see 2 to 3 Ikras in the class right now. So Ikra Rahman, you are attending Zoom sessions? Yes. Right, with, yes, people, wonderful. We do not use any preposition after with. I have done a video on this, people. Haven't you watched it? Haven't you watched it? We do not use any preposition after prescribed. I knew you will use. I know you will mess with the statement, huh? No preposition. Prescribe के बाद कोई preposition नहीं आता है. Prescribe ശേഷം ഒരു prepositionum നമ്മൾ use ചെയ്യാറില്ല. Okay, so initially, comma, Mr. X presented in March 2007. He has diabetes, comma, for which he is on medication. He has poor compliance with oral diabetic agent, semicolon, therefore, comma, his medication compliance was monitored. He has been prescribed IV antibiotics twice daily. Understood, everyone? He has been prescribed IV antibiotics twice daily. No connector, no connector. No connector. Okay. Apply suitable connector. He is currently stable. I got a positive statement. He is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. That's you only. Okay, Ikra, that's you only. Right. Ikra Rahman, yes, I need to take Zoom sessions. Any link for registration, OET classes? Yeah, you can contact the number, na, right? The number which is scrolling, right? Below my live session, you can see the number which is scrolling. You can contact them, okay? You can contact them, dear. Okay, and you can register yourself. Okay, I take writing live sessions. So you can avail, right? You can call the number which is scrolling down, right? Call and talk about it. And yes, with, see, this is separate session, okay? Zoom sessions are different. This is YouTube live session that I take once in a week. Okay, so you can register, call this number and talk to them. Okay, and do the needful, dear. Okay. Yes, people. So see, he is currently stable is a positive statement. He is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis is not a negative statement, but it is opposing to the first one, right? It is opposing to the first one. So that means you are supposed to use a opposing connector, right? Yes, he is currently stable, comma, but he is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. He is currently stable, semicolon, however, comma, he is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. Although he is currently stable, comma, He is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. All right, people. So 12 questions we have done. Please tell me all those who got full 12 correct. All the questions correct. Every blank was correct. How many of you got full questions correct? All the blanks were correct. How many of you got full? Say full in the chat box. Okay. All those people who got full blanks correct, say full in the chat box. 380 for writing, Simi. Wonderful, Simi. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Really. I got 380 for writing because of your online letters. Really thankful to you. So happy to you. So happy to see this message, Simi. And I really do remember you, Simi Charian. I do remember you and I'm very happy. 380 in writing. Good score, da. Good score. Very good, Simi. And what about other modules? What about other modules? Again, one mistake. 12th answer, please repeat. He is currently stable, comma, but he is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. He is currently stable, semicolon, however, comma, he is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. Although he is stable, comma, he is constantly monitored for signs of multiple sclerosis. Congrats, Simi. Congrats. Very good, very good, Simi. Very good, very good. All the very best, Simi, for your future endeavors. Very good. Very happy for you. Hard work paid off, right? That's the thing. Listening 400. Oh, kudos. Wonderful. Listening 400. Speaking and reading 350. And writing is 380. Wonderful, Simi. ഒന്നും പറയാനില്ല. Wonderful. Very good. Nice to know. Nice to know. Happy to know that. Okay. All right. Wish you all the very best, Simi. Wish you all the very best. Right. ഒന്നും പറയാനില്ല. See, this is a result of hard work, right? See, I always say to many of my students that, see, it is very easy to come in the live platform and say, yes, ma'am, I cleared the exam, and everybody says congrats. But the path, right? The path is only known to Simi, right? That path is known only to that person who went through all that struggle and made it possible, right? So, Simi, I really appreciate the path you have followed, and all the very best, dear. All right. All right, everyone. So, all my dear students, I could see there were many new students today. Okay, there were many new students today. Uh, yeah, okay. So, for the procedure of joining and all, you can see the number which is scrolling down below my live session. Please contact the number. And from the beginning, every type of thing is provided to you, dear Abhiratna. Okay, they will provide you proper counseling regarding the system, as you said, regarding the scoring system, about the orientation, about the month, about the number of months you can attend, right? About everything, you will get a detailed class. Okay, just call this number and clear out all the points that you need to. Okay. Thank you, Simi. Thank you for coming to this live platform and inspiring so many people, Simi. All the very best, dear. All right, people. So that was Simi. End of the session. She came just to inspire everyone. Okay. So please take that as an inspiration and try to come up and share your experience in YouTube session and Facebook session so that I can call your name loud, proudly, and we could talk to you. Right, people? So that is all for today. Catch you tomorrow. Don't miss 9 p.m. Zoom session. 9 p.m. Zoom session is there. And we will catch up tomorrow with another interesting task. Next live session I will be taking on Friday in Facebook at 7 p.m. Right? So until then, ta-da, bye-bye. Good night, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.